Hello everyone. So in this video I will walk you through Kubernetes Requests and Limits. So introduction to Kubernetes Resource Management. So importance of resource management in Kubernetes. Effective resource management is essential to ensure efficient utilization of cluster resources and maintaining application performance. Kubernetes objects for resource management. Kubernetes provides various objects such as resource quotas, limit ranges, and quality of service QoS classes to manage resources effectively. An overview of requests and limits. So requests and limits are fundamental concepts that define the minimum and maximum resource allocated to pods and containers. So this is a very high level diagram. So you have, just to recap, this is a master node, and we have got API server, HCD, controller manager, scheduler manager. So then API server talks with worker node, and worker node has kubelet component and kube proxy, but kubelet directly interacts with pod, and pod may have one or more container. So just to recap, and now understanding request and limits. So definition of request. Requests are the minimum amount of resources such as CPU and memory required by a container to run. They are used by the scheduler to determine the best node to place a pod. Definition of limits. Limits are the maximum amount of resources that a container can consume. They prevent resource overutilization and ensure fair allocation among containers. So purpose of request and limits. Request and limits enable efficient resource allocation and prevent resource contention within the cluster. So let's say we have a couple of containers. They may be inside a single pod and or could be in multiple pods. So we can define request and limits. So for example, we can have a CPU request 3 and CPU limit being 5. So 3 is the minimum and maximum is 5. Same memory request 100 and memory limit 200 millicore. So just 100 is 100 millicore, 200 millicore. Same for other different containers can have their own set of CPU request and memory request and memory limits. So configuring request and limits. Specifying request and limits in YAML files. Request and limits are specified in the container's YAML configuration file using the resources field with separate entries for request and limits. Units for CPU and memory. CPU resources are measured in CPU cores. Example, 500M is for 0.5 cores, while memory requests are measured in bytes. And if you see something like 256 MI, that stands for 256 maybe bytes, 256 MI. Default request and limits. So if request and limits are not explicitly set, default values may be applied based on the cluster configuration or limit range object. So just one point, you can specify, usually it's specified in YAML files, request and limits, but it's possible to do it through command line also, kubectl set command, but for most production or typical use case, it's always specified in YAML files. That's typical. But for the exam, you can always specify directly kubectl set resources. So next is pod configuration. So this is how the YAML file looks like. So you have for the pod API version, kind, metadata, spec. So just go to the spec section, and under spec you will have containers. So let's say you can have one or more containers. So let's say for container 1, you have name of container, the image, and under resources section you have request. So CPU 100M, which is 100 millicore, which is 0.01. So 1000M is one single core. And memory, you can have it's given in between 0 to 1000. So 200 MI is 200 maybe bytes. And same for limits, you can have upper limit. So just think of request as the lower limit and limit being the upper limit. So CPU 200 millicore and memory 500 maybe bytes. So this is MI. So next is quality of service classes. So definition. QoS classes are categories that Kubernetes assigns to pods based on their request and limits configurations, influencing their scheduling and eviction priorities. So guaranteed QoS is assigned to pods with equal request and limits for all containers, ensuring consistent performance. Burstable QoS is assigned to pods with specified request but varying limits, allowing for flexible resource usage within the specified range. And then last, BestEffort QoS is assigned to pods without specified request or limits, offering the lowest priority and making them susceptible to eviction during resource contention. So you have three types of QoS: guaranteed QoS, and where request is equal to limits, so both the values are same. Then we have burstable QoS, where request is less than limit. So request there will be lower value and a higher value, so that's why it's burstable. So it can vary between lower value to the higher value, both CPU and memory. And finally we have BestEffort. BestEffort is basically if you don't specify any request or limits for the container. Next we will see resource quota and limit ranges. So resource quotas overview. Resource quotas are Kubernetes objects that enforce constraints on resources usage at the namespace level, ensuring fair allocation among different teams or projects. So because usually we use namespace for teams or projects, so we want to make fair allocation to different teams. So that's why it's enforced at the namespace level. Next is limit ranges. Limit ranges are Kubernetes objects that define minimum and maximum resource constraints for individual pods and containers within a namespace, ensuring consistent resource usage. So just remember, resource quota is at namespace level and limit ranges are, just remember, just for easier for you, at the container level. So first you define resource quotas that team specific. Now within a team you want to make sure that a single container does not consume all the resources, so you define limit ranges. So just imagine you have two teams and one team has 10 developers, so you don't want a single developer within a team launching a container which with let's say 10 GB of memory, so that container would actually consume, so another 9 developers would not get anything for their development work. Okay, both ensuring consistency and preventing abuse. So both resource quotas, okay, I'll just repeat this. Limit ranges are Kubernetes objects that define minimum and maximum resource constraints for individual pods and containers within a namespace, ensuring consistent resource usage, ensuring consistency and preventing abuse. So both resource quotas and limit ranges help maintain consistency and prevent resource abuse, ensuring efficient resource utilization across the cluster. So we have got resource quota, which is a namespace level scope configured by cluster admin, and it enforces aggregate resource consumption. An example, total CPU and memory used by all pods within a single namespace. Next we have limit ranges, which is scope is pod or / container, and it is configured by namespace admin. So just think of a team, single team's admin or team owner, enforces resource constraints per container. An example is the minimum and maximum CPU and memory per container. So monitoring and managing resources. So importance, regularly monitoring resource usage is essential to identify bottlenecks, optimize resource allocation, and maintain application performance. Kubernetes metrics and monitoring tools. Kubernetes provides built-in metrics such as CPU and memory usage and integrates with external monitoring tools like Prometheus, Grafana, and Datadog for comprehensive resource monitoring. Strategies for resource management. Proactive strategies such as auto-scaling and load balancing can help effectively manage resources based on changing workloads and demand patterns. So you have got this dashboard. So this is how in Prometheus, Grafana or Datadog, you can have some kind of dashboard which will actually monitor your CPU, memory and storage usage for all three: request, limits and actual usage for your pods, containers, etc. So best practices for request and limits: avoid over or under provisioning resources to ensure efficient resource utilization and prevent performance issues caused by resource starvation or contention. Use limit ranges for consistency and to enforce consistent resource usage policies and prevent unexpected resource allocation within a namespace. Set appropriate QoS classes for your pods, ensuring their performance requirements and the desired balance between resource utilization and application stability. Regularly review and adjust configurations based on observed metrics, application requirements and cluster capacity. So these are the best practices. Make sure you set request and limits, ensure QoS classes, resource quotas, use limit ranges, monitor and adjust, and consider application requirements. Resource management challenges and solutions. Handling resource contention. Resource contention can be addressed by setting appropriate request and limits, implementing auto-scaling, using quality of service classes to prioritize critical workloads, balancing performance and cost. Striking a balance between performance and cost can be achieved by optimizing resource allocation based on application requirements, monitoring metrics, and leveraging auto-scaling mechanisms. Ensuring high availability requires effective resource management strategies such as load balancing, redundancy, and backup solutions, along with proactive monitoring and incident response. So these are the resource management challenges. Insufficient resources. Solution is configure request and limits. Overcommitting resources. Solution is to monitor and adjust resource usage. Inefficient resource allocation challenge. Use resource quotas and limits. And scaling issues. Implement auto scaling. So conclusion and key takeaways. Resource management importance. Effective resource management is crucial for ensuring efficient utilization of cluster resources and maintaining application performance in Kubernetes environments. Request limits and quality of service classes. So understanding and properly configuring them are fundamental to successful resource management. Monitoring and optimization strategies such as auto scaling and load balancing to adapt to changing workloads and demand patterns. And best practices for efficient resource allocation. Use limit ranges and resource quotas and regularly review and adjust resource configurations to ensure efficient resource allocation. And that's all. Thanks for watching.